After a patently insane wildcard weekend in the NFL, minus the last two games, we are now down to our Elite Eight, and the going really gets rough. Some say Divisional Weekend is the best weekend in the NFL calendar for the quality of games, kind of conference championship quality already, but 2 times the quantity. I'm more of a championship Sunday guy, but I'm still stoked for this weekend, despite the residual sting of the Eagles' loss. I'm not sure how I fared against the spread, but I was a cool 4-2 for wildcard weekend, with the Packers and Eagles, of course, letting me down. We look onward. Let's look at our first matchup. Bills at Broncos. The Bills, despite being a favorite, I believe in most books, felt like a risky pick for me last week, and my faith was rewarded by my, Mahomes-esque appreciation and logic for Josh Allen. I felt that Trevor Lawrence did play a decent game despite the interceptions, but in the end, those turnovers let the team down. I think the Jags are just getting started, and despite the fact that 13 wins and a wildcard exit usually spells disappointment, I think that reporter was right in telling Liam Cohen to keep his head up. As for Buffalo, the transitive property makes them the pick here. They beat the Jags. The Jags smacked the Broncos earlier this year in Denver, but we know that doesn't really apply in the NFL. This Broncos defense is nasty and will likely give Josh Allen everything he can handle. Josh is proving a lot in this playoff run, and if he can sink the defense that made Mahomes look pedestrian this year, he'll keep stacking personal wins. I've said a lot about the Broncos this year. I haven't been much of a believer, mainly due to their quarterback being my most baffling athlete of 2025 recipient a few weeks ago. This Bills defense is not excellent, but they've got on their roster guys that I would call survivors, to borrow a term from Vic Fangio, used in reference to Adoree Jackson. To take it a little further, survivors, in my view, are veteran players that don't have the ability and athleticism of young players, but can separate themselves through their savvy, experience, and big game experience, really, especially as the games slow down later in the year. Maybe it's lame to reference intangibles in this prediction, but guys like Shaq Thompson and Tre'Davious White showed the value of these kinds of players for the Bills last week. I think they can help this defense go up a level in the postseason. And that's why I don't think the Broncos will fare as well on offense as one might think. I've said my piece about Bo Nix. If this were QB versus QB, this game is a mismatch. But I also just don't think the Broncos have the individual excellence to exploit the bad matchups on the Buffalo defense, maybe save for Courtland Sutton, who I've always loved. But schemed offenses not named the 49ers tend to regress in the playoffs, and it even has happened to the 49ers sometimes. We're going to keep riding with the Mahomes logic as it pertains to Josh Allen. Bills 23, Broncos 19. 49ers at Seahawks. Perhaps I didn't give the 49ers enough credit in my video earlier this week. It was mostly just the sting of the Eagles' loss, but Shanahan's a genius. Robert Saleh can get his guys to get up for any game, etc., etc. Despite the interception, I thought Purdy played pretty well against the Eagles. He converted a lot of big third downs against a great defense. It's amazing how Shanahan can just get anybody open. The 49ers do such a great job of using the attention McCaffrey warrants to get others open. It was an offensive scheming mismatch on Sunday, despite the talent disparity. Unfortunately, with the tragic loss of George Kittle to an Achilles tear, the Seahawks' elite defense has one less thing to worry about on Saturday. And this is a defense that flat out embarrassed the 49ers in their last matchup. I think this is as far as Shanahan can take this shorthanded San Francisco group. The Seahawks actually have the brains to attack the 49ers' depleted linebacking core and tend to draw the kind of long-developing dig routes and deep crossers that take advantage of a team's pass-rushing woes. These are all, of course, things the Eagles did not do. The one thing to keep in mind for the Seahawks offense is the potential for Darnold to fall apart in the big moment. Again, I know I'm talking intangibles. I don't think that will happen, but it's certainly a narrative that will play a role in the discourse of this game. Also, Fred Warner might play. I know he wants to. I don't think they'll risk it, but he might play. Man, that guy is something else. The Seahawks were also much worse at home than on the road, so I guess that plays into the Niners' hands as well. The Niners have put up a valiant effort this season, but Seattle takes it to host a conference championship for the first time since 2015, 24-17. Texans at Patriots. The winners of the 2 least competitive wildcard weekend games and 2, I think, excellently coached and brilliantly drilled football teams. What do you even do with this Texans defense? They're just a group of the baddest you-know-whats. I'm looking into a potential nickname for them as they appear to be the best defense to come through the league in a while. The Steelers game was just a clinic from start to finish. It's funny to compare them to the also incredible Seattle defense on the other side of the bracket. Mike McDonald's group is a perfectly schemed group of players who are so versatile and malleable that they can take seemingly any form. Texans just line it up and rush for and see what happens. And what usually happens is they win. There's seemingly no antidote, no cure for the diseased offenses that is the Texans defense. They tackle better than anyone. They rush the passer better than anyone. The Patriots should fare better than the Steelers, who drove the ball past midfield once while the game was competitive. I think very highly of Drake May, but I think you need some truly special playmakers at skill positions to beat these Texans. If May pulls this one off, with the help of McDaniels, of course, he's immediately royalty in this league. Nico Collins, the Texans' best offensive weapon, left the Steelers game with a concussion. His status for Sunday is uncertain, but I doubt he'll play. That's a big boost for the Patriots, who will turn their attention to Christian Kirk, who had a great game. The reality is, if Stroud doesn't give this game to the Patriots like it looked like he would do for the Steelers in the first half on Monday, the Texans should win this game, to me. I don't expect the Texans to have a ton of success against the strong Pats defense, but this Texans defense is something else. I think they do enough to win 19-17. Rams at Bears. For me, this promises to be the most entertaining game of the weekend. Two genius offensive play callers with McVay and Ben Johnson. And I think this promises to be by far the coldest game the Rams have played in this season. Let's talk about the games these teams played in Wildcard Weekend for a second. In the Bears camp, I saw that really is a coronation and validation of Caleb Williams. For all the talk of missing layups, completion percentage, and the like, he did things to the Packers that only Mahomes and maybe Allen can do. I don't care how many third and longs he ended up in, because he's going to fire through the Chicago wind and a keyhole to Colston Loveland or Rome Odunze. He's got that take this game over and erase any lead ability that I've only ever seen in Patrick Mahomes. And the fact that he did it in a playoff game at home against this city's most hated rival, who has tortured them for decades, man, it was a special, special performance. I understand why there will still be skeptics. His game is not perfect, but you couldn't ask for more from the kid in his first playoff game. He also clearly has that never-satisfied killer mentality. He's not amused with himself. He's mad they were behind in the first place. The Packers pushed these Bears to the limit, and they simply do not have the personnel or quarterback that the Rams have. As a matter of fact, I think it's fair to call the Packers Rams Light. I'm not sure how much they know about light beer in Green Bay, but hey, I'm just kidding. I expected the Packers to perform well against this Bears defense, and I wasn't wrong. They just went missing for a while. I expect the Rams to be a little more consistent, creative, and play better defense when that inevitable Chicago run happens in the second half. As for the Rams' wildcard performance, there were concerns, to say the least, in their narrow win over the Panthers. It started out looking like a boat race, but in the end, as the Panthers narrowed things and eventually took a lead, Matt Stafford led back-to-back near-flawless touchdown drives when his team needed both of them. I actually think the Bears' defense poses less of a threat to LA than Carolina did, but their offense certainly poses more of one. They're certainly gettable, the Rams, especially if Stafford did any kind of damage to his throwing hand. I would also love to argue that the soft West Coast LA Rams would struggle in the cold of Chicago, but a worse version of them came the closest to knocking out the Eagles last year, and that game was in a blizzard. I think Stafford will be alright. While the Bears have this kind of team of destiny vibe, the team that wins miraculously week in, week out usually gets burned after a season of playing with fire. I think this team is going to be competitive and exciting to watch for years and years to come. But this season, it ends here. Rams win this one and head back to Seattle, 30-26. The further on we get, the more history is being made. Everyone enjoy Divisional Weekend. Check out my rant on the Eagles and my podcast with Luke Backman on Backman Sports. I'll see you next week when we're down to just 4. See you then.